Hello and welcome to a brief explainer on the differences between query management systems and data-driven workflows in Sage Commission platforms. Query management is very different from data-driven workflows in Sage Commission platforms. Let me explain how. Query management is essentially like a ticketing system where plain text issues or queries can be raised by sales reps. These queries can be replied to, routed to relevant users for additional feedback or approvals, and then finally acted upon by the admin using their own manual intervention. On the other hand, a data-driven workflow is a single business process that's automated. Data-driven workflows can have specific data fields attached to the cases raised. The cases can be routed for approval or feedback based on a rule-based mechanism, and routing can even be dynamically controlled based on the data attached to that case. For example, now let's see how a query management system might handle a transaction credit reassignment process. So let's say Adam, a sales rep, creates a new case which says, I'm missing credit for transaction ID 2100131 for say customer Microsoft in my commissions dashboard. So he adds this comment and he creates the case. The system then creates the case and is automatically sent to the sales admin. Sally, the sales admin, now receives the case. She checks the sales data file or data table for the transaction ID 2100131 and notes that the current transaction is assigned to John, the sales rep. So she comments on the case, transaction is assigned to John, sales rep. Mon manager, who's Adam's manager, so she mentions him and says, Mon manager, could you approve transferring credit for this transaction to Adam sales rep if appropriate? She then assigns the case to Mon manager. It now comes into Mon manager's inbox. He reviews the case. He reviews the comment that Sally has provided, and he checks his internal notes on whether the credit transfer to Adam is appropriate. If so, he comments, this transfer of credit is approved, and then he assigns the case back to Sally for further action. Sally now gets the case back in her inbox. She enters a new record into the transaction credit transfer parameter table and mentions the case ID for the audit trail of the approval. Then the system, when commissions are processed, it automatically uses the transaction credit transfer parameter table for adjusting the transaction credits. So this is how the flow would work in a regular query management system. Now let's see how a data-driven workflow would implement the exact same process. Say the same sales rep, Adam, the sales rep, first he picks a specific claim transaction credit workflow. As I mentioned, a data-driven workflow is a specific single business process. It's not a generic business process that can be used for all variety of things. He creates a case, Adam creates a case with the following data fields. He sets a transaction ID to 2100131 and then provides a business justification. I should receive credit for this transaction. Maybe he needs to attach some documentary proof. That's also be possible. Then he submits the case. Adam submits the case. So now let's see what the data-driven workflow system automatically, the kind of steps it will do for handling this case. The system first marks the state of the case is submitted. So this is one of the key features here. There's always a state that a case is in. Then the system automatically checks the sales data table for the provided transaction ID. If the transaction is available, it tags the current sales rep, that is John sales rep, onto the case data in a field named current rep. Then the system looks up the manager of Adam automatically from some hierarchy table and realizes it's Mon manager. Then it routes that case to Mon manager for approval. Now that it's in Mon manager's inbox, the Mon manager opens the case in his inbox and reviews the case. When he reviews the case, he's clearly shown that this is a request of transfer of credit for this transaction from John sales rep to Adam sales rep. It can also provide additional information regarding the transaction, who's the customer, what is the amount of the transaction, when did it happen, all of that. Then he obviously checks his own internal notes and sees if the credit transfer is appropriate, and he approves the case. Note he's performing an action that's got a specific type here. He's not just generically commenting on a case. Now it goes back to the data-driven workflow system. The system marks the state of the case is approved. It automatically enters a new record into the approved transaction credit transfer parameter table. An audit trail is linked to the case history automatically. When commissions are processed, this parameter table is automatically used for adjusting transaction credits. As you can see, this kind of workflows don't really require the involvement of an admin unless it is mandated for the admin to have a step within the workflow. As you can see, the data-driven workflow performs a lot of automated action, significantly reducing sales admins' efforts and improving their productivity. With defined SLAs, the risk of missing cases or delayed cases will also go away, making the whole process more reliable and efficient. Thank you for watching. For more information about how our solutions can improve your sales commission processes, check out our website or contact us directly.